Most fans think World Cup groups are created by luck. A giant bowl, a few footballs, someone pulls out a team name, done. But that's not how it works. In reality, FIFA spends months building a system designed to keep the tournament balanced, competitive, and just a little bit chaotic. And for the 2026 World Cup, with a record 48 teams, the process is more complicated than ever. So how exactly does FIFA decide who goes where? And could your favorite team end up with an easy group or a nightmare one? Let's break it down. First, let's start with the biggest change. The 2026 World Cup will have 48 teams instead of 32. That means more countries, more matches, and a much bigger draw. Sounds simple. It isn't, because FIFA can't just throw 48 teams into groups randomly. If they did, one group could end up stacked with football giants, while another might contain mostly lower-ranked teams. That would be a disaster, so FIFA uses something called seeding. Think of seeding as football's version of sorting players before a video game tournament. The strongest teams are separated so they don't all crash into each other immediately. In theory, every group should end up reasonably balanced. In practice, fans still find reasons to complain. Now here's where it gets interesting. Before the draw takes place, FIFA ranks all qualified teams using the FIFA World Ranking. The higher your ranking, the better your position going into the draw. The best-ranked teams are placed into Pot 1. The next group goes into Pot 2, then Pot 3, then Pot 4, and so on. For 2026, there will be more pots than ever because there are more teams than ever. This sounds simple, but rankings suddenly become incredibly important. A team ranked just a few spots higher could land in a much easier position during the draw. A small difference on paper can create a huge difference in reality. Now let's talk about the hosts. The United States, Canada, and Mexico automatically qualify because they are hosting the tournament. And hosts receive special treatment, not the secret conspiracy type, the official FIFA type. Host nations are usually placed into predetermined positions before the draw begins. That helps FIFA organize schedules, venues, travel, and opening matches. So before a single ball is pulled from a pot, some positions are already locked in. Now we reach the actual draw. This is the part everyone watches. Officials pull teams from pots one at a time and place them into groups. Looks random, feels random, but there are rules everywhere. For example, FIFA tries to avoid placing too many teams from the same confederation into one group. A confederation is basically a continental football organization. Europe has UEFA, South America has CONMEBOL, Africa has CAF. You know the type. Without these restrictions, you could end up with groups that feel more like continental championships than a World Cup. So FIFA limits certain combinations. That means sometimes a team is drawn but can't go into a particular group. Instead, it gets moved to the next available spot that follows the rules. And this is where viewers often get confused. The draw looks random, but it isn't completely random. It's controlled randomness, like shuffling a deck of cards after removing half the cards first. Now let's imagine two teams. One is ranked very highly, the other barely qualified. The higher-ranked team enters a stronger seeding pot. That alone can dramatically change its path through the tournament. Same World Cup, same draw, completely different starting point. That's why national teams care so much about rankings before the tournament even begins. Those rankings don't just affect pride, they can affect survival. And here's the funny part. Even after all the planning, all the rankings, all the seeding pots, and all the restrictions, fans still argue about whether a group is easy or impossible. Every single World Cup, without fail, one group becomes the group of death. Another becomes the group everyone wishes their team had joined. And suddenly millions of people become experts in tournament mathematics. So when you watch the 2026 World Cup draw, remember this. You're not watching random names come out of bowls. You're watching a carefully designed system built from rankings, seedings, continental restrictions, host placements, and tournament planning. The goal is simple. Create fair groups, create competitive matches, and create a tournament that feels unpredictable without being unfair. Because the World Cup isn't just about who wins on the pitch. It's also about the path teams take to get there. And with 48 teams entering the biggest World Cup ever, that path might matter more than ever. So the next time someone says the draw is completely random, you'll know the truth. And if you enjoy simple football explanations like this, make sure to subscribe because football gets